IFB Interfleet Broadcasting. It's New York Pete with the Dipsy Toaster on the machine, and we are here at La Mano del Destino with Gonzo, who actually put this all together. It's a story of the masked wrestlers in the world, where they are the heads of all different types of, whether it be the church, right?
Yeah. It's they're the advocates and proxies for all business and political anything. So if any kind of business or political dispute needs to take place, it's rather than debated, it's like my wrestler versus your wrestler, and whoever prevails wins the argument. So they're like rock stars and politicians all rolled into one, and they also still just wrestle for championship belts as well, just to know who the best wrestlers are and that sort of thing.
Oh man, so who doesn't love, right, wrestling and lucha and the masked, kings of the ring, right, the squared circle.
Yeah.
So when we saw this, it's a passion project. Gonzo, you're going to sign number one for us. Absolutely. And if you could just make that out to New York Pete, IFB.
Okay.
There we go. And you're going to tell us a little bit more about your project and how you funded it, your concept a little bit, and I'm going to bring up a little of the Kickstarter and the specials. So here, that's number one,
okay, cool,
and we're going to.
I'll hand that to you.
All right, outstanding.
All right,
so
cool.
we're going to actually, when we do the wrap up of New York Comic Con, eventually we're going to actually do a little bit of this. So we'd love to have you on the show.
All right, sounds good. I mean, if I have time, absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Outstanding.
Not if I should say, if it all works out.
When you have time.
Yeah, when I have time.
Absolutely.
That sounds
good.
Good.
So we focus on, the indie artists and producers and the behind the scenes. So the beauty of this and getting to you is that this is all you.
Yeah, I do everything on this. I didn't know I could have help. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to make sure it got done. So yeah, I started this project in 2011. And it started off as a portfolio piece, I had like 9 pages of it done because it was a story I kind of wanted to tell. And so I took it around to editors. Everybody loved it, but nobody wanted to take it on as a project. But I got encouraged to do it as a self-published project. And after the encouragement of some very key people, I was like, yeah, I can do this myself. And so with issue 1, I set up a publication company. I got into Diamond Comics. We solicited issue 1.
Wow.
1 and 2 went through Diamond, but after that, I ended up self-publishing for issues 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it's everything on this. It's written, drawn, colored, lettered, graphic design, and shipped out by me. Like I do every bit of it. And it's
that's insane.
I mean, do you want me to recap the story for you real quick? Or
we do,
okay.
But we also want to mention that this was also a Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, so once I finished all 6 issues, these I did in English, but it was important to me that that the story exists in Spanish. It wasn't really cost effective for me to do every issue individually in Spanish, but with the Kickstarter, I did all 172 story pages in English on one side, and if you flip it over, all 172 pages in Spanish on the other side. So you get two different versions of the book all in one. And with this, we've got the foil belly band, which is a replica of the championship belt, spot varnished, edge printing, 26 pages of back matter, which go into everything from the history of the project to my ethos behind why I put it together, how I pick my color palettes, and then we also have 16 pinups by various other artists doing their take on the characters within my book. Yep.
You told me that you were very particular on the feel of the actual pages themselves.
Yeah. So the story itself is set in the 1960s. It's this weird 1960s Mexico where lucha libre is the most important thing. But for me, the heyday of the luchador was always the mid-1960s, right? El Santo, Blue Demon, those guys were making movies.
Mil Máscaras,
absolutely. Tinieblas, El Solitario, all those guys. But so I wanted to set it in the 60s. I love the art style. I love the mid-century modern. I love the sleek modernity of everything. And I really like Marvel Silver Age house style of the 1960s. So I kind of appropriated that style. But the problem with drawing like a 1960s comic and then printing it onto modern technologies is it looks like a modern comic book. So to kind of counteract that, I put everything on this newsprint, and I actually digitally distress the comic a bit to make it look and feel like an old comic book. So you can feel the paper stock and you can see the distressing of the actual, what would have been the printing process, because I wanted it to look and feel and smell like an old comic.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, because the ink is in the paper and not just on the paper. It's absorption print, not evaporative.
So cool.
That's why old comic books smelled like that. So I literally just digitally emulated the physical printing process of the 1960s. But then once you actually print it in the manner that was similar to what they did in the 60s, it kind of gains an instant kind of aging. It becomes instantly an artifact of a time that never existed.
I love it.
All right, thank you.
This is so cool.
Thank you.
So you are here with you.
Yep.
I see that there are multiple issues.
Yep. So it's a 6-issue story arc.
Okay.
And then the 6th issue is double size, so it's 44 pages.
Okay.
Because I used to love how comics would randomly give you just extra pages occasionally in a comic book.
Right.
Yeah. So I wanted the finale to be a big finale. It's the last issue. We do get to a climax at the end of issue 6, and so 44-page double size finale for the series. So you basically get 7 issues in the package of 6 issues.
This is incredible, guys.
Thank
IFB, Interfleet Broadcasting, last day of Comic-Con. It's Sunday here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We've promised you to bring the cream of the crop. Here it is. And if we're lucky, we'll try to convince Gonzo to come back because he has more in store. This is not the end of this. Yeah. There's going to be more, hopefully another Kickstarter, hopefully another one of these beautiful, look at this edition. This is really cool. I flipped through the story. He told us a little bit about it, and it stayed with me. We met yesterday. Yeah. So we'll have more for you. We'll discuss this a little bit more when we do a full wrap-up. Gonzo, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
And we're going to have more for you guys, so stay tuned. Fans fuel the fleet, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.